Welcome, friends, to the YouTube video no one wants to make, how to replace the wax seal on your toilet. I cannot tell you how much I was hoping never to have to do this again. I installed these toilets and I thought that was a one and done, but apparently not. So here we are. What happened was that we had a clog and we plunged it, and when we plunged it, the wax seal failed and it started leaking out the bottom there, which means that you have to replace your wax seal. Lesson learned, go gently with the plunger. All right, so step one is to turn off the water supply. These typically have a valve that looks like this, and when it is crosswise, that means it's off. You can also tell because when you flush it, you can't hear water coming back into the tank. Now, this is a high efficiency model toilet. It's a Niagara Stealth. I actually really like the toilet itself. I just don't care for this particular chore. Step two is to get all the water out of the tank. So you can hold down whatever your flushing mechanism looks like. For us, it's this button on top. Traditional toilets have that lever and so on and so forth. And your goal is to empty the tank as much as possible and the bowl as much as possible. Here's what the tank looks like inside on these Niagara Stealth toilets. And it just is kind of a smaller chamber, I guess, which is what makes it high efficiency. We are now going to disconnect the water supply so that I can take the tank off of the toilet. If you're really strong, you can take the toilet, tank, and bowl out at the same time. But I am not that person. So luckily this just unscrews. I will admit I loosened it previously with the crescent wrench. You're gonna expect to have some water come out, perfectly normal. Just is in the line there, and it can't really be avoided. Next up, if you look in there, you'll see that there is a bolt holding on the tank to the toilet. So you have to loosen these wing nuts. There's one on each side. Now I'm going to pick up the tank and set it to the side. And depending on how much water is still in there, I might take a trip by the sink first and fix that. That's pretty lightweight, but I would not want to tackle the tank and the toilet together, just because it leaves more room for a tragedy. And now I have to take the bolts out that are securing the toilet to the floor. So those are right here. Now, these nuts, which is what's actually securing it down, are significantly smaller, which is why I recommend just sticking with a crescent wrench, because it's adjustable. You only need one tool and you can basically get it to whatever size you need really quickly and really easily. Okay. Want to be very careful not to strip these, because at the end of our little joyride here, we want to be able to just put everything back together nice and easy. And I really recommend that once you can get it to the point where you can do it by hand, that you do that, because the more metal on metal contact you have, the more opportunity you have for stripping out the nut. The other thing is, you want to make sure you have a good handle on righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, because if you over-tighten these bolts when you're trying to actually loosen it, you could crack the toilet. And then it's a matter of replacing the toilet, unfortunately. Okay. I am making sure to put my hardware in one spot. Now I'm going to lift this bad boy up. Lift with your legs, not with your back. You want to make sure you're lifting straight up, because if you don't lift straight up, you're going to catch those bolts and potentially damage the toilet. And I can see that that wax ring is off center and definitely had a failure spot there. So wasn't gonna get away with this without replacing that ring. From here, really all you need to do is grab it under the lip of that plastic piece and pull up. And look at that, came out really nice and clean. Always be prepared to wash your hands. Couple finer points. Odie is a pretty well-known brand. These cost about $5, so luckily it's a pretty cheap fix. And according to the directions, which is different from what I did last time, you actually install it onto the toilet first and then set it down in place. So we're gonna try that, see if it works. I went with a standard width ring. The reason I did that is because we don't have a thick layer of flooring built up. If you had tile or something built up on top of your subfloor, you might want to get an extra thick ring to accommodate that. Now these bolts do have some wear to them, and it looks like this washer actually started to lift for some reason. So I am gonna go ahead, since I'm here, loosen those nuts, remove those bolts, and put the new ones in place. New hardware. Going in there, turning, sliding up. It's easiest if you assemble this before you put it in. So I've got my bolt, my plastic washer, and my metal washer. And what's kind of interesting about that is that the one that came off did not have a plastic washer. So I'm kind of wondering if I had an incomplete kit, which may have partially led to this failure. The more you know. You do want to snug it down with the crescent wrench. I'm going to see if I can get this in the frame here. Sorta. And you don't over tighten anything, because anytime you over tighten something, you cause problems, because you create a little dimple or some other place where water can get in and your seal can fail. The wax is built to kind of fill gaps, so you know it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but the closer you can come, the better. The plastic piece goes ultimately down into the drain. So you place the wax ring over the outlet there. And then once you have the wax ring in place so that it's gonna stay there when you pick the toilet up and turn it over, you carefully lift the bowl over the toilet flange. This is the flange. And then you line up the holes where the bolts go, which you can see right there and right there. And you play your best game of line it up, shooting gallery, whatever, and lower it down. Success. Got one poking through there, one poking through right there, and there is a gap here between the toilet and the floor, but not for long, because I'm about to use my body weight to push down evenly on the toilet and get it to seal. Ta-da! Now I'm going to place the nuts over the top there. Now I'm fairly certain that people are going to point out that you shouldn't use the washer and nut underneath the toilet, which is what I did. However, I'm doing this by myself, and by tightening that down in place before I reseated the toilet, I made sure those bolts wouldn't go anywhere on me. And so that makes life easier. There's plenty of room under there for that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my old washer and nut, glad I kept them and didn't strip them, and re-secure the toilet to the floor using those. All right, here's my washer. And here is my nut. And again, do not over tighten these, because if you over tighten them, you can crack your toilet. But you do want them firm, which is why I'm going to take my crescent wrench, give it a couple turns, nothing crazy, rinse and repeat. Time to put this bad boy back in place. I can see there's some residue built up. I don't want that to cause a problem. So I'm going to take some vinegar and clean that up before I put it back together. I do want to say that residue is not anything gross. It's just the minerals from our water. We have untreated spring water here, which comes with calcium and magnesium and all kinds of goodness that also leaves residue on your appliances and fixtures. All right, lined up the bolts so they're back through. I am going to tighten those bolts down first, then I'm going to reconnect that water supply, and then I'm going to turn on the water and take it for a test spin. Once again, do not over tighten your bolts. In this case, those are called wing nuts. And then when you reconnect your water supply, make sure it's not cross-threaded. It should go on nice and easy with no real resistance. You're going to snug that up and make sure it's nice and firm. Now, before I turn on that water supply, I'm going to dry everything really thoroughly. That way I can tell easily if it is in fact leaking. These water supply lines do leak and fail, especially if they get taken on and off a whole bunch. So I'm hoping that's not the case here. Moment of truth. So far, I don't have any drips. And we're filling up. And that won't fill until I give it a test flush. So in the meantime, I'm going to continue drying everything really well around the floor. Again, so I can tell if I have leaks. We're almost to the top. You can kind of see that's the float mechanism, and you can see it coming up. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay. Remember that it was totally dry, so it needs to have water introduced before it'll flush properly anyway. And I am really hoping that the original clog is no longer a problem, because that would suck. Okay, let's try this. Oh yeah, we're looking good. Yay! That's it for another episode of Why Didn't You Just Call a Plumber? Because I just don't like to do that.